All right, guys, welcome back to the table. 1776 or bust. First off, I just want to say thank all of you for watching yesterday's video. That video actually did really well, maybe because it was only 5 minutes long, but at the same time, I do appreciate everybody who watched it. And I will continue to do things like that on this channel, change up the format a little bit, but I do appreciate the amount of people that watch that video. Also, if you guys don't mind, hit that thumbs up right now so that you don't forget by the end of the video. I really appreciate the fact that a lot of you are now actually doing that quite a bit. And again, I can only ask you to do it. If you choose not to, that's fine, but it doesn't hurt to ask. So let's talk. Let's talk about this gun right here. This is my M&P 9 Shield. It's a Performance Center model, and it's the 4-inch. And I've already done a video on this before. However, the one difference that you're going to see here is that this one has the optic on it. Now, I did get some comments last night about the optic. We were kind of debating it the other night. This is going to be a Crimson Trace. Big Johnson was correct, and so was, God, I can't remember his name. Humble Marksman, that's it. So Humble Marksman mentioned that he had a CTS 1500 probably on that Sky that he tested, and he said that it was a walking zero and it wasn't very bright. That's going to be kind of interesting. I haven't shot the gun yet, obviously. Still under quarantine, which is great. But what I'm going to do is when I shoot it, I want to see if that's correct. Now, one of the things, I've been dry firing the crap out of this gun. And from the factory, I have to say that it looks fairly straight on. I will tell you that I did notice it seems to have traveled a little bit to the left just from dry firing. But that could just be me because, well, let's be honest, I suck at shooting dots because I don't shoot them enough. But it definitely doesn't seem like it's centered like it was when I first got it. So we're going to test it out. We're going to see if that works. Now, the interesting thing about the optic is it is made out of plastic, so this is not a steel casing around it. So arguably, you're going to probably have to keep an eye on this optic. If you drop it on its head, probably going to break. I'm not going to test that unless somebody wants to donate me a new optic for this. I will definitely throw this on the ground, but until then, it's going to stay where it's at. So I find it a little bit weird that Smith & Wesson, who owns Crimson Trace, did not put any of the insignias on the side. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe to keep the gun just as bland as possible. But they do own Crimson Trace, so it is definitely a CTS 1500. If you look at the Sky, which has that on there, it looks identical. The only weird thing is that on the Sky, it says that this is a 3.5 MOA. However, on Smith & Wesson's website, this actually calls it a 4 MOA. So again, not sure if they make two different variances, but that's the information that I gathered. So in looking at this gun hasn't changed much. The original 2.0s that came out obviously did not have the 4-inch, and they eventually, entered the market with a 4-inch, and they did a really good job. I really enjoy that handgun. I kind of moved away from slim type of profile handguns, and now I'm going back to them. What a surprise. But one of the things that I noticed about this Smith is that I just have to say the construction of this gun is very solid. There are some people who have complained that they tend to rust or they've had issues with the finish. I haven't seen that on any of the Smiths that I've ever owned, and this is no different. Now, again, hasn't been shot, hasn't really been carried at all, but just to kind of give you an idea of what it comes with, it comes with the optic, comes with the fiber optics, which is pretty cool. Again, one of the beauties of this gun, compared to speaking of some of the other ones out there, is that you do not need to buy any new sights. I mean, if you're okay with co-witnessing on fiber optics, you don't need to change these. And if you choose to change them, you don't have to go hunting for a suppressor height sight, because the way they cut this into the slide here is they cut it actually deep enough so that you don't have to worry about getting new sights. So you're going to get a perfect co-witness there. And then you can see it. You won't be able to see the red dot so well, but you can see that co-witness is right there. And that's good. I like that because you don't have to buy anything else. So out of the box, you're good to go. Trigger-wise, some people say the Performance Center triggers are fantastic. I really don't find that to be the case. The original Shield triggers, I think everybody could agree, were not that great. Very mushy, very spongy, not a very good tactile or audible reset. Even with the M&Ps, you saw that. Full size, compacts, that sort of stuff. Now, when you look at this trigger, they're saying that this is a Performance Center tuned action. I'm not sure that's true. I think this is just your regular Shield trigger. They just say it is tuned, but I'm not sure it is. Now, just feeling it like this, and it's a short take up, there's not a lot of movement. You get to the wall, there's really no creep. So maybe that's what they're saying that it's tuned for, but the reset is laughable. And what I mean by that is there is absolutely barely an audible click, and there is really not a tactile feel at all. Unless you're really, in a quiet arena and you're closing your eyes and you have the lights drawn and you have some smooth music going on. But anyway, what you're going to find is that reset is barely there again. So I'm not sure I buy that whole idea that this is a tuned trigger. I just don't think it is. You'll notice they have the front cocking serrations here. At least that's what they say on the website. I would say this is more aesthetic than actual functional. The rear serrations are still very good. Those are your fish scale kind of serrations. So it's actually pretty cool. The new 2.0s, they actually extended these up onto the slide, which is kind of a good idea. And I think it's something that some people like, some people can do without. I'm not a big press checking guy. And if I was going to press check, I'm going to grab right here where you can see this little beveled edge here and just grab it from there. And if you want to press check, great. You can be super cool and do that. I think overall, when you look at this, you got a solid platform. The shield doesn't have to change much. It's got the Armonite, durable corrosion covering on this, which is pretty cool. Comes with 2 magazines. You've got your flush fit, which I've actually replaced with this little pinky pad from NDZ Performance, which I had on my original shield. And then you come with the extended magazine. Now with the extended magazine, you're going to get full grip on here. I know some people don't like the way this gun feels in their hand because it is very, very slim. But at the same time, one of the things that I'm going to have to say is that it still works for me. So you're going to notice it comes with 2 magazines. You have the extended magazine, and most people don't really complain about the fit and feel of this handgun. The 2.0 came out with a little bit new texturing here. This is super aggressive texturing, although I have to say it's not as bad as an M&P 2.0 compact, full size, or even the subcompact. This isn't as aggressive as those. These are much, much more bearable on the skin. However, you can always sand these down with a light sandpaper and then just basically make it feel a little smoother, or get yourself some like Talon grips or something like that to make it more rubberized. But overall, the aggressiveness is fantastic. I can't see anybody complaining about losing a grip on this handgun based on the fact that it is so slim and the fact that you have this amazingly rough textured surface, which does a pretty damn good job. Overall, the shield is a good, solid build. It has been around for a long time. I think most people would say it's a fairly reliable handgun. The 4-inch is no difference to that. To me, this is almost going to the borderline of, like, let's say a full-size carry. When you have that full-size grip in there, you can see that my pinky still has even more room underneath there. Not much, but you should be able to get a full purchase unless you got, monster hands. Now, with the pinky extension I have on here, you're not really adding to the size of that grip to the point where you won't be able to conceal it. It just gives you that little shelf there, which makes it even a more comfortable feeling, especially when you're shooting it. And I've got to say, I do like that. Now in the box, what came with it was a cleaning kit. All the performance centers have the cleaning kit, and it also came with the plate, and this optic was separated from the slide. So all I did was pop the plate off, put the optic on there, and boom, ready to go. Other than that, there haven't been really any issues dry firing or actually anything really, but I won't know that until it goes to the range. Again, I'm still on quarantine, so I haven't been able to get out of here. At some point I'd like to, but unfortunately I haven't been able to do that. I think overall, if you're looking for a pretty good solid build, if you're looking for a reliable handgun, something that also has a really good long, lengthy track record of doing pretty well by the consumer, you'd be hard pressed not to go for a shield. Now, don't get me wrong. There are other great options out there. I mentioned them yesterday. You've got the 43X, the 48, you got the SIGs, you got this, you got that. You got everything that you could want and then some. It's ultimately going to be up to you to decide, do you actually prefer to go with something that's been tested over time, something that has a very, very good established track record, and at the same time, maybe not the best in regards to capacity, but also not the worst. And some people were commenting yesterday that, if you can't get out of a situation with, 8 and 7 rounds, I'm not sure what situation you're in. And they may have a point to that. More importantly, if you choose to, you can always do some aftermarket tweaks to this, get a better trigger, get a shoe. You can get some things to put in here, mag guts, other different types of base plates that will give you +5, +2, whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, the shield, in my opinion, is still a solid build. It's still a very good, reliable handgun. And even with the Performance Center, you're getting some options here that you may not have had in the past. I think the only thing that might be a little iffy is what's going to happen with this optic over time. Now, I once had a Walther PPS M2, which had the red dot as well from Shield. And it was also a polymer red dot. So it wasn't made out of metal. It was actually polymer. At least I think so. I can't remember. I know the glass was actually plastic, but I can't remember if the actual casing was metal. So if you guys remember, you can let me know because I don't. But I think that would be the only question mark, is going to be this optic. Now, whether or not the optic is going to walk, whether or not the optic is going to last and pass the test of time, we have yet to see. So far, everything about this is a typical Smith & Wesson shield. More importantly, it just comes with a couple of little features here, like the red dot optic, the fiber optics, the supposedly tuned trigger that makes it maybe a step above the regular shields. Again, is it worth the money? I think these are retailing at $850, around that ballpark. I did not pay that. I paid close to about I think I paid $770 for this, around that, which is pretty high for a shield. But remember, it does come with the optic, does come with the fiber optic sights. Whether or not it's worth it, that's going to be entirely up to you. I do, especially since I do like the shield quite a bit. I think this was money well spent. Again, we'll see what happens with this optic. If the optic doesn't work and it doesn't do what it needs to do over time, then maybe I'll be able to switch this out, get a mounting plate here, and then see if that's usable. Again, I'm not sure if that's possible, but that's something I may look into in the future. So leave those comments down below. You tell me what you think about the 4-inch Performance Center with the red dot. You guys left some great comments yesterday, so let's continue the flow. Again, give us the thumbs up. I always appreciate that, and the channel is hopefully going to grow because of that, and it's always helpful to get your support. So I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you stay safe, and as always, everyone, freedom is never free.